original Witcher turned a lot of heads in 2007. Made by a lesser-known studio, CD Projekt Red, and based on a Polish book series, the game quickly earned a number of fans around the world. Hopefully that trend will continue with The Witcher 2: Assassins of Kings. Not only does the sequel improve on almost everything the first game offered, but it's also one of the best role-playing games I've played in the past few years on any platform. There are still a few annoyances to be found here and there, but role-playing fans with a decent gaming rig should pick this up right away. The main character of the series is Geralt, who is, go figure, a Witcher, a mutant engineered to slay monsters. He has a number of supernatural powers and carries around 2 swords at all times. The silver one cuts down creatures, while the steel one deals damage to everyone else. In The Witcher 2, Geralt finds himself in the middle of warring races, shifting alliances, and a number of assassination attempts. While you don't have to play the first game to understand what's going on, it definitely helps. From its opening moments, The Witcher 2 throws you straight into the middle of things without much exposition or explanation. Newcomers will have to constantly double-check names and locations in the game's extensive journal, which may be a turn-off to some. The Witcher 2 assumes you're moderately intelligent, and does not make any concessions to the tale it's telling. If you do put in the extra time needed to understand the characters and situations, you'll be rewarded with a complex and mature story with terrific characterization. The graphics have the same attention to detail that the story has. This is one of the prettiest RPGs I've played. While the character animations during conversation aren't anything special, the environments, lighting effects, and richly detailed towns more than make up for any shortcomings. The menu interface also looks nice, though I did find it a little cumbersome to use at times. Doing simple things like slotting mutagens on character abilities or crafting items is not quite as functional as it should be. This is not a huge problem, but little annoyances start to stand out when the rest of the game is so good. The Witcher 2 is a more straightforward action game than its predecessor, and you're given a lot of options when it comes to combat. You can focus on Geralt's swordplay, upgrade his magical abilities, build traps, or dive into alchemy, which creates things like stat-changing potions or bombs. You have to think when you fight in The Witcher 2. Geralt can only drink potions outside of battle, so you're going to have to carefully prepare for fights rather than blindly charge through. While the beginning of the game will force you to use everything at Geralt's disposal, the game will get noticeably easier as you start upgrading your abilities, save for a handful of challenging boss fights. In fact, the game actually starts to lose some of its depth because you wind up powering up certain abilities and have little incentive to use anything else. Still, the combat is fast, engaging, and a lot of fun. Targeting enemies can be a little too finicky, but it's not a big problem. One thing that The Witcher 2 excels at is making you feel like you're part of this world. Geralt is not some kind of superhero to the townspeople you meet. He's an outsider and is often treated as a criminal. Everyone in the game has distinct motivations for their actions, and you'll have to make choices that will drastically affect later parts of the game. Unlike a number of recent RPGs, these choices are made organically. There's no giant morality meter to tell you whether you've done a good thing or a bad thing. Not many games have such a realistic take on this subject matter, and it's really refreshing to see. Likewise, you never feel like you're wasting time with pointless side quests. Each quest fits very well into the context of the world, and can change your experience quite a bit. The Witcher 2 features a dark, complex tale meant for a more adult crowd, which is great to see considering how many games these days attempt to pander to as wide an audience as possible. The game doesn't hold your hand or shy away from violence or sexuality. While not the easiest world to dive into, patient gamers will be rewarded with one of the deepest and most finely crafted role-playing experiences you'll find this year. For more on The Witcher 2: Assassins of Kings, head over to IGN.com.